I hereby call to order this meeting of the Strategic Housing Finance Corporation of Travis County. Today we are at 1033 La Posada Drive, and by my watch it is 11:36 a.m. We begin with the roll call and confirmation of quorum. Ms. Honeybeth.
President Julio Gonzalez Altamirano.
Present.
Vice President Jan Winning.
Present.
Director Delete Becker. Director Keisha Prince. Director Lisa Reams. Here. Director Rebecca Weber.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
We do have a quorum.
Ms. Honeycutt, I do want to note that at your convenience, you may note that I believe Director Prince is in our virtual one.
Yes. And
Thank
I'm going to check to make sure. Did she say President? Did
I
you hear her?
didn't hear it, but
She's so soft-spoken.
as you know. So now we will move to item 2 in our agenda, and this is the public forum citizen communication. And is there anyone that has signed up to speak? Yes.
She's in many places at once.
She said, I know, we're asking too much.
We are asking too much.
We are asking too much.
Excellent.
All right. Hello, Director Becker.
Who has signed up to speak first? Ms. Honeycutt. Taheen, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Ms. Honeycutt, let the record reflect that Director Becker has joined us. Welcome, Director Becker. Hello. We are at the public forum part, and we are going to go with our first speaker. Yes, okay. You have, let me get my trusted Cassie ready. You have 3 minutes to address us.
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
Do I need to speak into the mic, or is this fine?
That is perfect.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taheen. I will be speaking in regards to the Rosemont Reinvestment Program. I'm an organizer with BOSTA. I have been working closely with the Tenants Association at Oak Valley, also known as Soto Riverside, and I will be representing them in my testimony today. As many of you know, tenants at Rosemont and BOSTA have put in a significant effort to reach this stage at which we are at now, and would like to express our support for the redistribution of nearly $2 million to more than 200 families that will be receiving this money. I've met with the steering committee of the Tenants Association earlier this week, and folks are unanimous in support of this initiative. We appreciate SHFC, including tenants and BOSTA in the process for creating this initiative. The strides that SHFC has made in being responsive to tenants is quite remarkable. So thank you. I would like to highlight that although some tenants who are set to benefit from these redistributed funds have moved away from Rosemont, many families are still living at Rosemont today. For those remaining families, these funds have become even more crucial as promises made by Hayden Glade and Elliott continue to go unfulfilled. To highlight a few of these pressing concerns, tenants are still battling with health and safety problems due to unresolved mold issues, and many are facing rent increases of up to $600 or face eviction if they cannot afford such a steep rent increase all at once. Unfortunately, it looks like these increases comply with tax credit rules. In the coming weeks, you will receive a detailed letter outlining the broken promises and the ongoing challenges faced by tenants due to the failures of Hayden Glade. This letter will provide a comprehensive overview of how these issues have impacted the community and the importance of addressing them. We hope that the Rosemont Reinvestment Initiative you are considering today moves as quickly as possible, as many residents who choose to remain at Rosemont will be able to use the funding to be able to continue to remain at Rosemont with their families for the coming year, even despite such steep rent increases. Thank you for your attention in this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Honeycutt, is there anyone else signed up to speak?
No, let me make sure that I know it's online.
And is there anybody physically here that didn't get a chance to sign up that would like to speak?
I'll speak.
Okay.
I'll be quick.
Please introduce yourself. And remember, you have 3 minutes.
Yes, I won't take 3 minutes, but I always, I'm a time optimist, as y'all know. Okay, so my name is Shoshana Krieger, project director of BASTA. This is the first time I've heard of the way these meetings have run from my colleagues and from Gabby, who left us next week for really exciting new adventures. And she had said about how just the change in the dynamics and how wonderful it was, and I'm so happy to be here today and to see it, and just the professionalism, the well-oiled machine, also a certain amount of joy, which it seems like the board has, which is a really lovely departure. The amazingness of, it seems like, all of the work that Diana has done to get this operation moving in a new space. So I just want to say just good work to everyone, and it's impressive. And then on the Rosemont reinvestment funding, the fact that it's actually happening in Julio, just, I mean, some of those conversations we had at the end where it was like, okay, how can we make this work? Actually being able to see that it works with the leadership of Rebecca and Jan, and then especially Lisa and Keisha as the Rosemont residents. Like, I think there were moments where like, we don't know if this actually can happen, and the fact that y'all are making this happen is truly incredible, and I feel really lucky to have gotten to play a part in that, and just want to thank y'all for all of your hard work. And that's it. I was under 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Maybe you would have given me another 3 minutes.
You might have. You could negotiate.
But thank you sincerely for your contributions
Really,
to this outcome.
really, thank you, Shoshana.
Is there anybody else that would like a chance to speak before we close the public portion?
May I ask a clarifying question of a speaker?
You may.
Thank you.
It will be. We'll take it out of regular order. Go ahead.
I was wondering, the letter that you mentioned, who else is getting that letter?
We haven't determined who else we get the
Okay.
Yeah. Is there a reason for that question?
I think county commissioners might also be interested in learning what's going on. So, thank you.
Thank you. So returning to our regular order on item 2, I see no one else that wants to testify or has signed up, so we're going to move to item 3, which is the director's report.
Good morning, board members. If we can advance the slides. Even more, thank you. So I'm going to just touch very briefly on a few items that are in your board package and a few that are not. You have in your package both the June and July financial statements. Remember, we did not have a full board meeting last month. Ended up having our special called meeting on a specific topic. But as of the end of July, we have just over $8.9 million cash in hand and net assets of just over 9.5, a modest increase over the previous month. Our year-to-date budget to actual, on the revenue side, we're at 73% of our projected revenues for the time period for year-to-date, and at only 40% of projected expenses. Remember that this is based on an assumption sort of a smooth spending over the course of the year, which will not be the case because we had a mid-year budget amendment, which is going to allow some significant hiring and investments in the latter part of the year. The other piece, and we will share this with you in more detail when we move into budget season, is that staff has done some analysis on the pattern of revenue receipt. In past years, it has been fairly typical that the bulk of our fees, et cetera, are coming in Q3 and Q4. So while we are not at sort of precisely where we would expect to be if the revenue receipt was smoothed over the calendar year, right now we think that's fairly consistent with how revenue has been received in the past. In the future years' budgets, we will be looking at really scheduling in a more detailed fashion when we expect to get fees from each project, so that we just have a little better bead on where we are, plus or minus to what has been expected. Any questions there before I proceed? All right, let's move forward. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of where we are in our transaction flow. I counted, because I was glutton for punishment, we do have 21 active transactions right now. And that includes 9 projects which the board has approved and are moving towards close. So you have made an initial approval. We are working with legal and our partners, and would be coming back typically with final documents for you to approve. We also have 6 transactions within our current portfolio. 2 of those are the supplementary inducements that you gave preliminary approval to 2 weeks ago. But we have 3 potential sales of projects for projects that have passed year 15 in the tax credit compliance period, and now potentially there could be a sale of an interest or a sale of a project overall. We are also working through the amendment of a limited partnership agreement that is subsequent to our purchase of the interest on the South Park deal. So that's, if my math is right, that's 15 transactions. We then also have 6 projects in underwriting, actually one of which you will hear today, and another 6 to 8, this is a little more of a moving target, prospects that we're looking at. So I just want you to understand that we have very, for an organization of our size and sort of the historical transaction flow, we have quite significant increase that we're working to manage with you. And I'll give you an update on hiring here in a moment, which is of course relevant to us managing this pipeline. Next slide. So we have a lag on the big on the big screen. All right, so you have this in your package. It was late to posting. The top line message is we continue to be a little below 90% across the portfolio. We certainly would like to be, and in normal market conditions would expect to have an average portfolio occupancy of above 90%. This average is impacted fairly significantly by one project, which, while the occupancy is improving, had been as low as 70. We're now at 77%. And so I think this is something we will continue to track as we bring on a portfolio manager. It will be someone who will also work closely with our partners to make sure that we're doing everything we can to support solid occupancy in the portfolio at large. It is also reflective to some degree of things we're seeing in the market generally. Next slide. Or any questions on that before I continue? All right. So we are posting for Director of Real Estate has closed, and we have scheduled our initial round of interviews for next week. So it is my hope that, my fingers are crossed, that we will, at next month's board meeting, be able to share progress. In my heart of hearts, so I can share a name, but we'll see where we are at that time. We've got posting for the Senior Manager of Finance Administration complete. It's actually going to go up on Monday. We have also engaged Austin Legacy Solutions for document management. So as you know, we've inherited historical documents, years of documents from HATSE, and with a lot of the new transactions, obviously, are going to be generating our own stream of documents. And so this is someone who has both some background in real estate, but has worked in document management before. And so our hope is that, just on a contract basis, really help us build sort of an organizational base for ensuring that obviously all of our legal and deal related documents are well organized, but we'll be looking at other systems for the organization as well. We also have quotes on a couple of construction monitors. You recall this is something we have talked about, both related to portfolio sort of management and monitoring at large, and then in specific instances where we have non-trivial slowdowns in the construction timeline, making sure that we have access to third parties who can support our staff in that. The next piece of news is that you will recall that you approved some months ago engagement of a couple of communications firms working in tandem, Arrow Media and Steady Hand. Arrow has been doing a brand audit, looking at our positioning in the market, et cetera. They have completed their discovery. I think all of you participated in that in one way or another. And so they have presented us with their preliminary findings of the discovery. We're actually meeting with them again today to begin talking about sort of the brand platform, the basics of the strategies that they'd like to implement. I will mention that, of course, we're always cognizant of quorum, but if I know executive committee is participating in that, if there are board members here that are interested in sitting in on that meeting, we can accommodate one more. We will be coming back to the board with a condensed brief in the future. Once this part is done, when we're really talking about the messaging and the positioning, we will then move on to logo and visual identity, the fun stuff. Finally, I want, in terms of updates, I want to remind you that the Texas Association of Local Housing Finance Agencies has its annual conference in October, the 21st through the 23rd. It is in beautiful Irving, Texas. And remind you that we do have budget specifically for the board to attend these kind of board development opportunities, and I think this is a space in which you not only will have an opportunity to learn about housing finance agencies, but it's attended fairly significantly by other board members of housing finance corporations. So your peers. Yes, ma'am.
How would you like us to communicate with you on our interest?
I would like you to reach out to Ms. Honeycutt to let her know if you would like to attend, and we will process that.
Thank you.
Next slide. As per some communication that we've had over the last few days, we have some slight adjustments to our board calendar for the rest. Top level news, we will begin to convene at 1 p.m. instead of 11:30, which accommodates the schedules of our board members. And then the November and December dates here are different than what was originally on the calendar. This avoids the holiday Thursdays in those months. We will also, post this meeting, adjust the Outlook invites that you have. I think that concludes, next slide, let me just make certain. Yes, that concludes the director's report. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, questions before it's awarded to our Vice President, Dr. Jen Winnick.
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation. I love the detail. I love the scope. We're really getting a sense of our pace and our progress, and it's feeling really good. I speak for myself. I do have a question. I like the way you were projecting ahead about what's the rhythm and what's the cadence of getting fees, and your examination analysis is really, really appreciated. In that prediction of further fees, higher fees, quarter 3, quarter 4, does that include the Rise Residential makeup of no fees being issued yet? Where is that going?
The short answer is yes.
Have you mentioned them?
So in HATC's 2024 projections of revenue, they did not include those projects, which we'd not been receiving timely the anticipated fees. Because of that, I think it's fair to say they discounted for sort of doubtful accounts. As we are actually building out with Brown Graham, CPA firm, sort of looking at every deal and looking at the fee structure, the scheduling of it, et cetera. So, we will look at that, and it will be important, I think, when we have cases like this, if we have a project that is for some reason non-performing, or at least non-performing in terms of the anticipated fees, that we will try to project for that. But just to answer your question, the Rise Residential was not included in HATSI's original revenue. And so it doesn't impact our budget for this year.
I'm confused. HATSI, help me track.
The original 2024 operating budget was approved by the board late in 2023, when HATSI was still providing management services.
Correct.
The projection they provided of fees anticipated to be received
Okay.
by project,
When we were still merged.
correct,
I gotcha.
did not include
In
RISE.
capacity as SHFC.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where I wasn't
Yes,
tracking.
yes.
Have we heard from Rise Residential?
I mean, we've been in contact, but we owe them right now, sort of, we're working on a master memo of here are all the things we want, and here are the conditions that we anticipate needing met before we come back. The bonds are still at the bottom of the list, right? They were sort of some of the last applicants in for the bond review
Yeah.
board. So we don't have a sense, I'm looking at Hilltop folks, we don't think it's imminent, right? So we're in a wait and see mode, but we'll be continuing to work.
It may be just me, but from our last engagement, when Hilltop sat with us last meeting, it seemed like their lack of preparation included some basic data that we called for, and I thought it was forthcoming, and we have seen it by now, but that might be an incorrect anticipation. Maybe I should adjust my expectations.
No, so I want to let Mr. Hoppower, have we received any of that at this time?
We haven't received any updated information. We received some about a month or so ago from RISE that they had provided to Hilltop Securities, but we have some questions about that as well. So we'll have a letter going out to RISE next week memorializing all of the documents that we want them to provide to us, along with a date by which we expect to receive it. And that document will serve as kind of our founding document for this process, for lack of a better term, of going back to them and saying, here's what we need and here's when we need it. We're also going to be going back and looking at confirming exactly how much money on the two projects that were completed have not been paid yet. And so we'll be going through the entire waterfall and seeing what in our list of revenue has not been paid and needs to be paid. And it's our feeling that should be paid prior to coming back to the board and asking for final approval on anything.
Appreciate your responses. And just to explain where I'm coming from, we have a history under a prior structure in the staff and on the board where we would hear that things were coming, but they never came. So I apologize if I'm micromanaging y'all.
That's okay.
But I'm glad to hear that there's a letter being generated with a deadline. So
Yes.
thank you.
Any additional questions or Q&A?
I see the board.
Does anybody else have any questions about the report? No? Okay. No questions? I think we have concluded this item. Thank you. We are now going to move to the consent agenda. This is where we deal with items that are boilerplate or previously worked upon and/or our minutes. And so the items that are on the consent agenda, I will note, and then we'll go slow so you can check, are our minutes of A and B, our new workforce structure development terms, which is C. D is our investment policy. E is a conflict of interest policy. F is discrimination, anti-harassment policy, and complaint procedure. And G, the workplace violence policy. As we have been doing the consent agenda, we always ask if anybody wants to pull an item for discussion, though obviously if you are going to pull an item for discussion, our anticipations, given that we have worked on these for a while, is that you have significant contributions to make. is there an item you would like to pull for discussion?
Yes, I would like to discuss the August 6 minutes.
Okay.
And also note, if I can, that I will be recusing myself from voting on the June 27th minutes, because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Is it possible to interrupt and ask y'all to move the microphones closer?
Oh, sure. Thank you for letting us know. You can't hear us?
Yeah.
On Zoom.
Yeah, on Zoom.
Oh, on Zoom?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and then people also have comments in the chat. I don't know if that's.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking
Thank
to
you.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Should I repeat my,
So I just want to make sure, you want to pull for discussion?
the August 6 minutes?
Mhm.
And recuse myself from the June 27th minute?
Okay, so we will pull for discussion item B under 4, and then it would be appropriate to, at this time, to receive a motion for approval unanimously of all items but item B in the consent agenda. Okay, Director Reams makes the second, and seeing no objections, then those items are approved unanimously. We will make note that Director Weber is abstaining from item A.
Thank you.
Did we get that? Okay, and now we will entertain item B under our action agenda, so to speak, because we're going to discuss it. And so I will yield the floor to Director Weber.
Thank you. So I just want to call to y'all's attention that the minutes on page 2 state that if the reservation, and this is about Rise Residential, if the reservation is obtained, Strategic Housing Finance Corporation board members will need copies of financials, construction budgets, and schedule of values. And I wanted to ask Director Becker, is that encompass the list of items that we demanded at the last hearing?
That's not all of it.
Okay, what else? I think we should add to the minutes the other items.
I need to go back and look what all I want.
Uh-huh.
Then my suggestion would be, in the interest of time and just clarity, why don't we hold this and we correct it to your satisfaction, and then you see it in September, since it is not there is no critical.
If I send you an email
Yes.
with this blurb, then
Yes.
okay.
And I have it in notes what I wanted.
Well, and so I think importantly, we will provide the transcript.
I think
since
the
these are
transcript,
minutes.
because
Yes,
there
yeah,
were many of
yeah,
us that
yeah.
contributed to that.
I know.
I think that what this speaks to is the moment in which Director Becker said specifically, I want,
Yes.
I know I asked for a P&L. I mean, straight to her face.
Right. So remember, we transitioned from we capture everything said at the meeting, right, to predominantly, we are capturing action, except in cases like this where Director Becker, in one particular moment of the meeting, said, I want it noted for the record XYZ. If we have not captured that appropriately, we will absolutely go back and do so. Other sort of requests made more informally during the meeting would not normally be captured in the meeting minutes. So just so you know what we'll be looking at. Understood? Yes. Thank you.
And Kevin does a great recap of the meeting. Like Zoom, transcript, everything.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
I can get that,
Yeah.
I'll have the answer to you.
I can email it to you right away.
And then
We'll look at it as well.
And then I will complete my list of what I want, even though I might not have said it in the
Totally
meeting.
fine. Yes, absolutely.
I have a note card with the Becker list and I think a few other additions, and I will add it to the conversation. So thank you for pointing that out, Director Weber. I think we've got a solution. So given that, we will go to the regular items of the action agenda. And staff, do you have a preference on which one we take first, A or B?
We have guests for both,
Yeah.
and so I suggest we move through in well, let me pause. Rosemont might be faster. So we, of course, always want our Boston friends to stay at the meeting for as long as they like, but we might be able to do that if people then want to leave. So perhaps let's go to, if the chair is comfortable, 5B. Really, it's up to your discretion. This might be quicker.
Seeing no objection to the reasonable suggestion by the executive director, I will take item B for discussion. And why don't we have the staff presentation of that item first?
Excellent. So staff presentation is going to be very short. This is really just a summary, and I think this is a resolution that largely memorializes the briefing and the general direction that we discussed at the committee meeting that was held on July 30th. And so the resolution does really 4 separate things. One is that it amends the SHFC operating budget for this year to increase it by $2 million. We have some slight adjustments to the former budget amount. There was an error there, so we'll read an amendment in if it's the board's pleasure. But we are increasing because we knew we had always anticipated that there would be an investment in this space, but it was not in the budget per se. It is coming from our net assets, cash on hand. It authorizes the executive director and staff to develop and administer a call for proposals for nonprofit partners because as we've worked with council, we've believe it is judicious and possibly necessary for us to work with a nonprofit who administers this rather than making direct payments to former tenants. And so we are contemplating something that falls short of a full formal RFP process, but we do want to scope it and reach out to our potential partners. And so this authorizes us to do that. It then directs us to just include the parameters that we talked about last month, that the total funds would not, for this time, exceed $2 million. That does include the funds to administer the program. That eligible recipients would be any household living at Rosemont from February 2021 through April of 2023, the time of the sale, excluding households who have received funds from the subsequent owner for voluntary move out. That was the $15,000 that was to be offered by Hayden Glade to folks if they wish to move post-purchase. We have received communication from Hayden Glade that they will provide us a list. We're following up on that now. And then finally, that the maximum assistance amount per household would be $7,200, which corresponds to the HUD relocation, maximum relocation amount at the time of the event. Finally, it requests that the executive director present the proposed grant agreement to the board by the end of October. So I'll tell you that, getting a call for proposals out very quickly and then giving nonprofit partners a moment to respond, even October it's a pretty tight timeline, but that's what we're shooting for. I'll stop there and answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Any questions?
Do you want me to come this way?
We will entertain that.
That's correct.
Yes, we will entertain that in the discussion action
Oh,
portion.
okay.
Madam Vice President.
Thank you.
Seeing no questions, then we will move to discussion. If there is a motion to adopt. So moved by Director Reams and seconded by Director Weber. So we are now in discussion of item B, which is SHFC 2024-46. Would anybody like the floor for comment? Yes, Director Reams.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out it's a minor change, but from the board packet, there has been an amendment offered by staff about the fiscal impact of the tenant investment program. And it's correcting an error in the original statement that you have in your possession now, that the operating budget was $2,311,834. It was $2,319,471, which is an increase of $8,000. And thus, the total is instead of $4,311,834, it's $4,319,471, which is what you see on the slide.
Yes.
So just wanted folks to know that there's a minor correction from your materials. So that appears as an amendment?
I think we will want to make an official amendment to the text that was posted if I'm understanding where we are at in our obligations to the public of how we would process, right?
Right.
So we can discuss the amendment, make an amendment, discuss the amendment, adopt the amendment, and then go back to the main motion. Might be the easiest thing.
So I should make it.
Yes, if you could make a motion to adopt the numbers you just provided.
So I'm making a motion to adopt the amended figures as posted here and under discussion today.
Is there a second? Okay. Director. Would anybody like to discuss this motion before we take a voice vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The matter carries. The item is corrected. Yes, we're an adroit little group. Okay. So now we go back to the main motion. Anybody want to have this discussion or want to take the floor to make any comments? Director Weber.
I would just like to say I'm just so proud of this, and I'm glad that we're giving some measure of compensation back to people who suffered.
And I like to say, being a resident, that this has kind of been like, the residents have been waiting for so long. It's so long overdue that I think they're so exhausted that this is probably going to bring a little sunshine to them. And a lot of people may still be upset and not satisfied with it, but I appreciate the efforts to do something for them. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're here with you guys. We want to fight for what's right and a better future along with you guys. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to make any additional comments? Okay. Well, would you like to raise this issue, Director Wenning?
So in our consent agenda, I just want to point out that we did just pass a resolution on conflict of interest that the GFA committee, chaired by my colleague here, Director Weber, was part of passing. I just want to see if this applies to this vote and if Director Reams needs to recuse herself.
And Director Prince.
Oh, she's here? Did she make it?
She's virtually here, I believe.
She is here? Hello, Director Prince. Sorry.
Just to reconfigure your question slightly, if I may, would it be in the best interest of both the body and protecting our directors that they recuse themselves from voting on this item, given our conflict policy, since they, as to clarify for those that might not be tracking, since they stand to potentially materially gain from the vote?
So I think, not to be pedantic about it, but that's more, I think, more of a lawyer question, and I
Yes.
don't represent this body, but I will just say that in the interest of, transparency and no even appearance of conflict, that I think that's a good idea, so I thank you.
So hearing that suggestion as a way of protecting the body and the directors from a potential appearance, I see no additional desire to make comments. So I will just make one final comment before we take a roll call vote, which is to say thank you to the directors that have worked so hard on this, Director Wenning in particular, Director Reams and Prince, obviously you carry a special burden in this. This has been a long time coming. For the public, it might not be obvious, but this is incredibly complicated. We have arrived at, I think, a simple solution that we have confidence we can execute, and that actually is hard as well. And I agree with you, Director Reams, that maybe not everyone will be satisfied, but I know we have tried to do the best for everyone that we can within the world that we live in and the constraints that we have. With that said, now would be now is the appropriate time to vote on this matter, and I would like to do a roll. Because we're going to do a roll call.
Roll call.
So they
Yeah.
will recuse as we do that.
Gotcha.
So we're going to do a roll call.
I'm supposed to be absent from this.
Ms. Honeycutt?
President Julio Gonzalez Altamirano.
I vote yes.
Vice President Jen Winning.
Yes.
This is what I'm using.
Director Delete Becker.
Yes.
Director Keisha Prince.
Here.
She had put in the chat that she recused.
Okay.
I don't know.
Director Keisha Prince. Did you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, or did she recuses on the vote? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Keisha, are you voting yes or recusing per advice from your colleague?
I'm going to recuse
Thank
myself.
you. I will recuse myself.
She put in the chat.
So let the record reflect that she is obviously recused herself.
Director Lisa Reams.
I recuse myself.
Director Rebecca Weber.
Yes.
That completes the roll call vote, and the matter has achieved sufficient votes to be adopted. The resolution passes. Thank you, and thank you for those of you in the public and the community who have witnessed us doing things the best way that we can for the people that we serve. We are now going to move on to our original item A, which is SHOC 2024-43, to authorize and direct officers and staff to strategic, Sky Mountain.
Okay.
All right.
Before we move on, would it be useful, President Morano, I wanted to give a little bit of context on our conflict of interest policy that we just, I promise, give me the 3 minutes.
Okay,
A 2 minute.
the chair will return to
Just
item B for
a point of
Supplementary,
information.
yes.
Exactly. So first of all, remember that our original intent had been to approve this policy last month, and knowing that we were to have this vote this month. So it is part of our, I think, managing this is that we're doing both the same day. I do want to call the board's attention for any time this comes up in the future, that the policy that you have adopted does have an exception. So that if we are passing a policy which is intended to benefit a whole class of people, which this, as an example, would be an example of, then you can make an exception to a conflict of interest. So just want to clarify, it would not have been in violation of this policy for our members to vote, but also as a board, as the president framed this, in the interest both of the board members and of the appearance of the entire board, often it is advisable for folks to recuse themselves. So thank you very much.
Thank you for clarification.
And the point of distinction is per the different due process that the conflict policy creates, both for folks externally and directors, if they so choose. There's a question of, what I think folks refer to as, is there standing, is there a clear violation of policy? And so there not necessarily have been a clear violation of policy or anyone that says you have injured me by not following the policy. But as was discussed, some of us thought it would be wise to avoid the perception, even though it wouldn't be a clear and striking violation. I think we've clarified this and we understand it moving forward, which is important because we may have similar complementary votes to this or similar issues in the future because we are committed to having tenants on this board. So going back to Resolution 2024-43, item A, Sky Mountain, the floor is the staff's.
Yes. So, Kevin, if we can go back, thank you very much, sir. So we are bringing for your consideration today a preliminary approval of a partnership agreement on a workforce project known as Sky Mountain, sponsored by Copper Real Estate. Copper has representatives here today who are able to answer any questions you might have. One of the exciting things about this project is its location in Southwest Austin, where there is precious little affordable housing and not much in our portfolio. So this is a new construction project estimated at 281 units. It is our first time partnering with Copper Real Estate. The projected timeline would be a fairly expeditious close, December of 2024, and with construction starting soon thereafter. It a well-designed project with substantial amenities, very much in the realm of what one would see in Class A market rate units. Next slide, please. So I think just in terms of the location, this is on Highway 71, sort of close to 290, Southwest Parkway, et cetera, but still 15 minutes from downtown Austin. And if you note on the left, and this will come up, I think, in the next slide as well, very close to Preserve. Next slide, please. Are you able to advance, Kevin? Okay. So this is a fairly large site at 23 acres. It close to some of the developing retail in the area, and still within Austin ISD, so Oak Hill Elementary, Small Middle School, Austin High, and again very close to the entrance to this preserve. Next slide, please. So one of the things I think that's exciting about this site is it is adjacent to Travis County Community Center. It's a walking distance to Community Care Health Center, which is an FQHC and a safety net clinic. And so those are both amenities potentially for residents, but also in the case of the Travis County Community Center, a potential location of public employees. Who we might be targeting as a preferential tenants for this location. Next slide. So this is 1 and 2 bedrooms, roughly evenly split, with a fairly standard workforce structure, 20% at 60% AMI, 30% at 80, and 50% at 100, up to 120, effectively market rate. Next slide, please. So in terms of the public benefit, we've done an analysis here without any bonus points. We get to 89% public benefit ratio. And that's based on a 15-year estimated tax abatement value of just over $20 million. So we have a combination of essentially a fee at closing, annual fees, and then some back-end participation in the case of sale or refi, and just cash flow participation. The developers are electing to take the points for architecture, public worker preference, green building effectively, and access to services. Next slide. So I think, we in terms of working with Copper as a new partner, wanted to share with you some of the background. Copper Real Estate itself is a relatively early in its evolution, but the principles of Copper have come together from Lennar, where they all worked together for several years. Mr. Brunick, who is here with us today, was also at Lincoln Property Company from 2007 to 2018. So very substantial production of high quality Class A units in the marketplace. Next slide, please. Sky Mountain joins 2 other projects that Copper has under development. The other 2 are in North Texas, one in Dallas, Bishop 8th, 32 units, done in partnership with their Public Facilities Corporation, and Wisteria District, which is a partnership with the Mansfield Public Facilities Corporation. So similar structures to the projects that the project that is being proposed here today. Next slide. So again, this resolution authorizes staff to negotiate and execute an MOU with Copper Real Estate. That MOU, just so you know, we are moving forward. We have fairly well-developed language for the MOU, so we would anticipate being able to execute that quickly in the case of an approval. And then we would always, as we do with these projects, come back to the board with substantially final legal documents for final approval, at which time we would share with you if there had been any material changes to what you've seen today. With that, I will pause. I or Copper and Flip, feel free to join us up here, folks. I will answer any questions you have.
Could we have introduction?
This is Bill Rooney, and he's the founder and CEO. And this is Rob Reese. If I pronounced that right?
That's right.
And Rob is the development associate for Copper.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having us
being
here. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks to Keith for all his hard work on this project, and Hilltop as well, and it's a lot that goes into this just to be at this table, so thank you.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
This would be the appropriate time to ask questions of staff and or potential partners. Director Becker, would you like to ask some questions?
I would love to ask a question.
You have the floor.
Okay. Bishop 8th, you're scheduled to deliver Q2 of 2025. When did it start and are you on schedule?
We started February 1st, and we are hanging on schedule. We've had 28 days of rain so far and still hanging on schedule. So we've got a great construction team. The wonderful part about starting deals today versus 2 years ago is there's not as many deals that are starting construction. So our subcontractors have a lot of capacity. So the amount, that's one. Also, we're through the COVID logistic logjam, and so we're getting materials on time. And so between those two things, our public utility providers, they're running on time. So all these things are kind of out of our control, or all of a sudden lining up. So it's going really well so far. So knock on wood, we'll continue on schedule and under budget and all those kind of things.
You're under budget. Same question for the
We're not to the finish line yet, right? But we've got the general contractor there is a group called Rampart, and that's who we've engaged here in Austin, built here. They wrapped up 11 projects last year locally, and so they know the Austin market as well as the North Texas market, and they've just been a wonderful construction partner. So.
You do not put these out for bid? You just like the GC?
We've just started with them. We'll put it out. We will put it out to bid. We put it out to bid on the Bishop Arts one. We just have tons of momentum with that management team, and have and then our own in-house construction partner, Jay Graham, who's been in the industry for almost 40 years now. He's all multifamily, and so he knows the whole process and all the different trade partners as well. So it's been a really good team. He worked personally with the Rampart guys in the 90s, so there's a lot of great synergies there.
So you've got your in-house GC consultant, he's overseeing it, Jay
Yeah,
Graham
he's just
is?
a consultant. He's not the general contractor. He's really just our consultant on our side, just watching the third-party general contractor.
Okay. Do you have on those two a quality control program?
Yes, Rampart goes through a full quality control, and that's part of our whole process. Yeah.
And you review it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we go through monthly OAC meetings and go through all that. It's actually happening simultaneous to this meeting. So Jay and Braxton from Copper are there with the Rampart folks going through it.
And do you hire a third-party waterproofing consultant?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a big deal to us. So we'll do that for water. We'll do that for fair housing and ADA as well. That reviews the plans. And so the wonderful part about this Sky Mountain project, all that has already been done. The building permit is ready to pull. They will then come back and monitor. They'll do construction observation, and we'll do complete, once the building's ready for CO, they'll monitor that as well, make sure it's all looks good. Obviously, the waterproofing's pre-CO to make sure
It's all
high
involved.
and everything. Yeah, it's all.
Do we get those reports? Can we ask for that?
Waterproofing reports? I do not believe we have
No, we do not.
historically. We can.
Can we put it in our MOU?
Sure.
It may be, I might suggest there may be two of them. Our limited partner may have an issue with that, but we're happy to recommend someone for you to have on your side too, and we can make it a cost of the project. So something to just think through. We're open to that full conversation on it.
I know, but why would your limited partner have a problem with us seeing those?
Some of them have, let me just ask. Some of it
okay.
will say it's privileged and confidential sometimes through their attorney. Let me just ask the question.
The limited partner would have a problem with the GP seeing that?
Let me just think it through and get
Okay.
back to you on it. I want to make it work. I'm very comfortable with the team we have lined up on it, and we'll continue to just collaborate on it, get you what you need.
All of this is so that we get good buildings,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you keep coming back and we keep giving you more. We want to be good partners.
We love it. The good news on this architect, I think I've used over 10 times. And the reason we use them is for their construction details. They're
Okay.
very creative, but it's really the construction details that we love. And so we want this to be well-built, ready for the construction team. We don't want anything to leak, we don't want anything missing, and so they're just really strong at that. So a group called Womack Hampton out of Dallas, they're just, we use them a number of times, and we love their processes.
Has Jay, you said Rampart's done 11 in Austin.
They've
Jay
done
has
11.
done a lot in Austin,
Mhm.
and Womack has 2. 'Cause
Yes.
it takes twice as long to do anything in Austin as Dallas.
Yeah, no, we understand all that.
Okay, so you've got it baked in.
When we're with Lennar, we did everything, like our crown jewel at Lennar is on 12th Street there. It's a 15-story high-rise.
Okay.
And so, anyway, so we've been all through the process. and
Okay.
Very familiar, yeah.
Okay, hold on, let me see. You've already picked your GC Rampart, but you are going to put it out to
And we have
bid.
not given it to them, but we're working with, they've helped us come up with the costs that we're working towards right now. So, yeah.
What kind of contract do you sign with them?
Oh, GMP.
I mean, cost plus?
No, it's guaranteed max price.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Do we get a copy of that?
I believe that would typically be at the closing table when we close the partnership. There's usually,
Yeah, I mean, like on our other, like on our Dallas Public Facilities Corporation, you have the public partner serves as the contractor on it, right? So you
Right.
get the benefit of the material tax savings.
Right.
And then there's a super subcontractor that sits beneath it, that's the traditional contractor.
prime subcontractor, I think, in our language,
And
yeah.
so you get to review that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I did not know.
Yeah.
Making sure Keith gets everything he needs.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, hold on, let me see. You already told me who the architect is. You're sending it out to bid, you're bidding it with 3 contractors?
Yeah.
Do you make them bond it?
Not typically.
At any point, do you ever, like, oh,
Sometimes
if
you
it was
might bond a
this
certain
big?
sub, or if there's something else, but we just really traditionally haven't gotten the benefit out of bonding for the cost of it. Usually we are, we've just been more effective not bonding it, believe it or not. So we'll carry contingency on it. Right now, we've underwritten a 4.5% hard cost contingency. So again, on our Bishop Arts project, we have not dipped into that contingency, and we're playing them, so.
I think that is the last of my questions.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Director Becker. If you have any other additional questions, as our construction quality guardian, please let me know. I want to yield the floor to you again. Are there any other questions from the team? For whoever.
Yes, please. So I would love to hear about the bonus points that y'all got in our public benefit score. Just if you would just tell us the cool things that you're doing. I see there's a beer garden and a playscape. Amazing.
Yeah.
Will you tell us a little bit more about?
It's the same structure. It's not.
And a beer garden is a phrase that our landscape designer likes to use, but we do not provide the beer on that, so just to clarify on that. Yeah, and I don't know, Keith, if you have a site plan here, or anyways, but, well, we can start with this, with the elevation you're looking at, or rendering you're looking at here. One of the things we're eligible for is just, hey, the difference in making things really well livable and the architecture look interesting. And so we're getting points for using, we've got stone on there, we've got hardy on there, we've got upgraded windows on there, we've got pitched roofs on there, we've got flat roofs on there. So we're doing a lot with the building, and so that was some of it that we were eligible for. And then some of the other just community amenities, we will have what we call co-working, but just call private offices for people to work in, that we're seeing that as just such a huge amenity these days. And so we will have, this is our front building as you come off of 71, and here is the leasing office, but we also have some private offices here for residents to work in, and they can reserve for, we'll work through how the reservation system works on it, or if it's just totally open at all times. We've got several of those up here. Then really we go up a hill 50 feet, which is pretty cool. It's a hill country kind of feel. And then at the top of the hill, we'll have a building where we have our 2-level club room. And that also has some private offices on the second floor there for people to work from there. We've also got a 2-level fitness center back there, and both of those overlook a resort-style pool. And so that's where you'll have the grills and those types of things. And then on one of our other courtyards between buildings is where we have, our landscape architect's beer garden. So anyways, but it's addressing those community areas. We want to highlight. We want it to be a place for people to gather. We've also got a dog park, and so a dedicated fenced-in area, because we know pet-driven amenities are just huge for our residents, and everybody's got not everybody, but a high percentage of our residents have pets today. What else? We're also dedicating parkland to the city on the backside of our project, and so that's where the playscape will be. What else? We have a ton of green space. This is a 23-acre site, and because it's so difficult, our buildable area is just so small in this part of town that we just have to get these huge sites. So you get the benefit of just tons of green space around. And so our backside is we have the building with the amenities. It's kind of bracketed on each side by a building. On the backside of that, it's just green. So I bet that is 8 or, I haven't measured it, but is it 8 or 10 acres or some wonderful amount of green space on the backside, and it's just a huge amenity for residents. So
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
May I follow up?
You may follow
One
up.
more.
It seems that Mr. Ampere wants to
I did
complement
want
that
to. I did
answer.
want to have one thing addressed with the board. It's because it's one of our bonus items. It's one that we speak a lot about, and on their application, they also included local public sector workers' performance. And if you can just talk about how you intend to market or make sure the property is available to public sector employees, teachers, firefighters, police staff, any of that, how you could go about doing that.
Yeah, we'll go through, we've had different, we'll give them fun names along the way, hometown heroes and stuff like that. We'll go straight to their teachers and police and fire. It's really awesome. And our first knock on the door will be the fire station next door, right? And so then we got more county employees in the what we call
Tax
it,
offices right there.
The tax office, medical offices, everything right there, which is kind of fun. Just go, bring them a basket of goods and say, come, if you're interested, come see us in our leasing office. We'd love to have you. And so we will do special programs where we might waive a deposit or waive an application fee, things like that, to incentivize them further. Say, hey, we want the hometown heroes here, and so we love how proximate they are to us. That we can. It just seems like a really good fit there.
And I want to mention that, as we have instituted this preference, it has been largely for new construction, right? So we haven't had one open yet. But I think one of the things that lays in front of us as an organization is operationalizing. How can we create a system of making sure public employees are aware of these projects where they have some preference? So that's something that we want to work out over the next several months.
Director Weber, you still have the floor?
Okay, so I just have one more question,
Yeah.
and that is that we have, we care a lot about tenants on this board, and we've asked our partners to adopt a tenants' bill of rights that Travis County uses, and so I'm just wondering if y'all have considered that or discussed that.
I don't know that I've seen that, but I'm happy to review it and take a look and circle back with you. So thanks for making me aware of that. And Keith may have brought it up. I'm sorry, I don't remember that at the moment.
I think that was one of the available bonus point areas.
Okay.
So have not elected at this time.
We would love to see you adopt that if possible.
Well, let us take a look and we'll get back.
Any other questions, Director
I
Weber?
yield, thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have any additional questions? Director Wenning, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Director Weber, for bringing up tenants' rights. Along with that, eviction prevention, and I know you're a relatively new business, but when you talked about your outreach to workforce nearby, have you done that in your other properties? Have you done tenant rights in your other properties? Have you done eviction prevention in your other properties? And then I have a few other things.
I don't know without seeing it. I just need to go review it and happy to let you know. But we've definitely done outreach to hometown heroes kind of thing. So that's something we've done consistently, both at Lincoln property, now Willow Bridge, and then Lennar. We have those programs in place.
And what's the amount of response or the amount of people integrated into your complexes after that outreach? Do you know what the representation is?
It just matters, you know, we've had such a different variety of locations and situations. Off the top of my head, I don't know the number. I don't want to misstate it, but we prefer it. You know, I mean,
It's your goal.
Yeah, we like it. I mean, for us to have police officers on site is just organic security on site, and everybody loves that. Everyone sees a off-duty squad car in the parking lot, just makes everyone feel good. Everyone loves having teachers. They're the best, you know, residents possible. So it's just something we always aim for and look for and hope to get. But everybody makes housing decisions is not always. Everyone's got different motivations. Someone wants to live next to their sister. Someone wants to live next to their job. So you know, so it's all that kind of stuff that can take into equation. It's one of our goals. To honor the hometown heroes and get them in our community.
Did you want to say anything about eviction prevention?
I'm not prepared to speak on that, but I'm happy to circle back with you on it. And so,
Great.
yeah,
Okay.
no, I mean, we want to honor tenants' rights and go through what's everyone in the best position there. And so I just need to circle back on it.
So just to continue, as we're getting to know each other, I'm a social worker and I come from Section 8 VA supportive housing at the VA. Do you know about Section 8?
Sure.
Vouchers? Okay. What's the outreach you've done for Section 8 tenants?
You know, some of our communities in the past, like in our, it just wasn't part of the investment profile, was to go after that. And so anyways, it's something you just consider here, and we would welcome it. And our other public partners is not something that's come up with them on the Section 8 focus. And so anyways, that's.
So new ground for you on this one, on Section 8 outreach. Okay. So again, just as we're getting to know each other, deep affordability can be reached through Section 8 in a way that the other formulas can't reach. And since they're paying full market value, it doesn't impact your bottom line.
Sure.
And fully half of the members of this board are under 50% AMI. So we care about deep affordability, and there's a couple ways to do that.
Yeah.
So if you need more.
Let us work with, we'll work with a couple of the national property management groups on this. We haven't elected one yet, and so they're a wealth of knowledge on this.
Exactly.
And so Willow Bridge,
Also on eviction
former Lincoln
prevention.
property, Willow Bridge, or Gray Star, so we'll just, let's go work with them and consider all of our options there.
Okay. Also, the area you're in is not far from where I live. I'm really excited.
Oh, good.
I'm actually across the district from it, but I know exactly where you are, and I'm really excited about that target area for affordability. It's under one of our appointers districts, Madam Ann Howard, Commissioner Howard.
Right.
And so just a quick sideline, has she been notified yet of this development stuff? Does she know we're going there?
She doesn't. We spoke this morning about reaching out to her together.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I think she'd be interested, and we want to keep them informed of good news, and I think this is good news. Also, I just was curious, what do you like or what's difficult, other than my questions, in working with Strategic? Why did you want to work with us, and is there anything that we could do better if we're working with you?
So far, it's been a very positive experience. I was sorry to see a couple of board members get COVID earlier this month.
That was me.
I'm so sorry. I hope everyone's made a full recovery from that.
Yeah.
But it was, so far it's been a positive experience. And look, we're proud of having a couple great public partners so far. So City of Dallas and City of Mansfield. And so we like to develop wonderful communities that provide affordability. And so it just seemed like another great fit for when we reached out with Hilltop and Keith and Diane. We said, look, this could be a really interesting fit here, and so it's been positive so far. So we really appreciate everyone digging in.
Anything from your colleague?
Yeah, no, what I would say is we were actually recommended to work with you guys.
Oh, can you tell
as
us?
this location being somewhere where you wanted to see a project, and so we thought it was a great fit to say, look, we want to build a project there. That would be awesome, and it's a great partnership so far.
Oh, was that Hilltop?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah, and so it's been great.
Thank you. Good work, team. And if anything comes up that we could do better, as you can see, we're greasing our
Yeah.
wheels, we're staffing up, we've got a portfolio, but we want new deals too. And we're very interested in honing our skills and how we communicate with and work with our developers. So let us know. Yeah.
I have just one question, and then I think we will be ready to take. Oh, whoa! And let's go to Director Reams.
I kind
So sorry.
of just want to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
Okay, speaking from a resident point of view, say you have a tenant, that tenant is not on Section 8, but the tenant is already at 30% AMI, and that tenant lose their income or part of it or something like that. What measures do you take to keep that person a tenant or to help that person out? Do you know?
I need to circle back. It really, putting a Willow Bridge or something like that at the table is so effective because they go through this every day. Number one, I just say, as on a human level, I want to work with people, knowing and understand everybody goes through things, right? And we've all been there before. And so we want to work with people to make it right and understand, hey, what can we do to help you on it and what's a reasonable solution. But the play-by-play, I think we can just come up with something and circle back with you on it.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten that much from most people, so I appreciate at least you
Yeah.
saying you will work with it.
Yeah, and I'm not making any, I don't even know what I can or can't
do,
agree to
yes.
at the moment, so I don't want to overpromise or underpromise. Just say, hey, let's
I
just get
appreciate
with
the response.
Willow Bridge or Greystar, who do this all day, every day, and are experts in the field, and let's circle back.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Director Reams? I have two questions. One is just, have you ever replaced a property manager, and why? At any point in your career, but obviously repair are all different.
Well, so let me take a step back. So, okay, I was at Lincoln Property from 2007, 2017. While there, Lincoln grew to be the second largest property manager nationwide. And the reason was all about the customer service to owners, lenders, everyone else. And so while there, not only did I develop new properties or buy properties, I also oversaw a region of the property management company. And so I worked with owners, lenders, public partners. When there was a problem, we'd always say, hey, if the property falls under 88% occupancy, the vice president of property management has to go show up on site. So that was just one of the golden rules at Lincoln Property, which I always just love. Let's just figure it out. Let's get as many people here as possible to see how do we get this over 90. So that was one. Two, there's sometimes when, hey, personnel just doesn't work out, and we would just have to say, okay, for whatever reason, even though someone experienced the actual business manager there, it just may not be a fit. We got to find someone else who can take on this challenge. And every community is unique, and so yes, we've replaced personnel in that way, where I had to make the call and say, hey, it's time for a new business manager here. We're at 88% for some reason, and there's some things going on, but resident experience, being a good fiduciary to the ownership, to the lenders, to the investors, that was very important. So Lincoln Property, Willow Bridge, hey, they grew large based off, winning people over again and again. And so that's been a really good background for me. And so now while we're out and can select people, I just have a high respect for Lincoln Willow Bridge team and what they're able to do. So.
And then my second question, and this, you can answer it either with a concrete example,
yeah,
or with an example that you think would be enabled by our partnership. In a situation where you have to decide between serving the mission that we have, which is to provide affordable housing so that people have well-being, and a mission that we don't have but are complementary to, which is for capital to earn returns for risk, and for skilled people to earn wages and returns for taking risk. When those are in conflict, how have you, or how do you intend to sort of resolve that conflict, and where do we fit into that discussion?
Great question. I think it starts up front on expectations that as we go into this, we are asking to become your partner. And a partnership is, hey, we're working together towards a goal. And what are the goals? Well, part of this is mission-driven goal. It's not, the financial part is important, but the mission is important. So as we go and talk to lenders, investors, we're communicating that all the way through. Hey, this is a mission-driven investment opportunity, and so we want them to understand that this is different from just a total market rate deal. Now, when we do that, and they're getting on board with it, and the investors that we're talking to are familiar with these types of programs, we are all coming together. We do have fiduciary responsibility there too. So, hey, we want to weigh both, but we think most of these conversations happen up front on just general expectations and communicating that well all the way through. And so, we've got a saying in our office. It's real simple. The project we want to work on, it's a good deal with good people and a good structure. And so we want to work. The people part is important. If those three things don't line up, we don't want to work on the project. And so, the people part on who's our public partner, people part on what are we signed to do with the lenders, the equity partners, all that. Like, we want everyone to be on board and think it just happens at the human level on all of those things. So that help? I mean,
yes, I think so. And I think one thing I will convey is thank you for answering our questions. We want to get to know you all because, as you know, we have a aggressive vision, and so quality partners that understand what we are and what we're about is really important. We have not always had those, and we try to do the ones that do are a good fit. And one thing I just want to convey is, and I hope you're getting a flavor of it, is we are a mission-driven body that ultimately responds to the people of the county. We aim to be technically proficient and provide an excellent developer experience, but we are focused on the mission. And so what might make sense in the spreadsheet of some of your partners is not exactly always going to make sense in kind of our calculations. But I think you wouldn't be in this space and dealing with PFCs and 394s if you didn't get that. And so what I like about kind of how you're answering the questions is it is a partnership and it's a conversation, and we will, we're going to get to know each other. I want to reiterate one thing that's really important, and I think you got it from the different types of questions that you've got. And we do care about the details and the understanding the trade-offs in different financial environments, different development environments, the actual technical and craft of what you do. We understand that none of us have full control in these situations of how we do multifamily in America. But the fact that we do not have full control does not mean that we don't try to use whatever influence we have to do the right thing. So as we go into this partnership, I hope that you hear our passion for the details and the fact that we are mission driven, but that we also understand the ecology and economic arrangements that we work under.
Sure.
If there are no other questions?
I have one simple
Yes,
question.
Director Becker?
Because it might have already been answered and I wasn't listening. Your property manager, are y'all doing it in-house or are you subbing it out?
Subbing it.
To Willowbrook?
Willow
You keep saying-
Bridge. Yeah, so Lincoln Property Company rebranded to Willow Bridge. That's why I keep saying Lincoln Willow Bridge. So
Okay,
they're-
okay.
Most people know them as Lincoln, and now they're Willow Bridge. And so that's who would likely, because that's who I used to work with,
Yeah.
people I know, friends, all that kind of stuff. We haven't given it to them, but that would be a likely candidate for this. So we've already had early conversations with them about it, but
It's great. We'd rather you not manage it.
yeah, no, hey.
All right.
I said
Not sure how I feel about that, but I'm not gonna manage it, so yeah, it's good.
it's better. Then
Yeah.
you control it, and if it's not going well, then you handle it because they're not your employees.
That's it. Well, yeah, look, and this is what they do all day long, right? And they're so well staffed for it, and they understand all the paperwork and everything. You know, it's a lot, so let them do what they're great at.
That is it for me.
Okay, seeing no additional questions or feedback, we are now going to move to the discussion if there is a motion to adopt this resolution. Is there a motion to adopt? Made by Director Reams and seconded by Director Weber. All right, it is time for discussion. Would anybody like the floor to make comments, observations, or amendments? No? Okay, then I will, provide a summary comment. We heard this deal in Real Estate Committee. This wasn't emphasized by staff, but I think is important and kind of intuitive because of where this building is and the stuff around it. People want to be here, and so the rents are different than our typical profile. If you look at the public benefit analysis, there is a significant contribution by having these buildings even at 80 AMI because of what the market could command. Yes, the market environment has changed. Yes, there is a glut. Yes, we are seeing in our own reports that there's occupancy, but as we all know, what that will mean is there will probably be less risk-taking. And one of the things that we have been doing this year is keeping the pedal on the accelerator around income restricted units and taking a risk on that, even if we were to spend a lot of time poring over the spreadsheet and say, well, maybe there's some nickels, some dimes you could further extract here. Our macro policy has been, let's keep folks building. And that is why because of where this is at, because of the public benefits from rents, and because I am intrigued by this potential partner and what they could help us do, if they end up being a good fit for our values and vision, do support the adoption of this resolution. Is there anyone else that wants to provide any feedback or have further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we are going to do a voice vote on this one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The matter carries unanimously. We are now at item 6, and congratulations to you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
look
Thank you.
at-
Thank you
okay.
for coming.
Nice to meet you all. and
Yeah.
Look
Thank you.
forward to see this come to fruition. So,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, we are now at item 6, which is new and unfinished business. Are there any items that individuals want to raise as something that they want to talk about on the agenda in the future or that's on their mind? Okay, is there anything
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, Director Wenning,
I'm
you have the
sorry.
floor.
This is something we can handle on the message board, but just when and if it's ready, we are interested, I think, in a work session on portfolio review. No pressure. You've got a lot of plates you're spinning in the air right now, but that's one, just keep that one in mind. Yeah.
Okay, and I will also add that we have to develop our executive director's evaluation. And so that is a to-do that we want to get to. I believe September 30th is what we said. And I think if there is forward progress that is fair, we will, if we are not able to meet that deadline, I think there will not be conflict, but I would really like to get close to that. So it is a work stream we're going to take on. Yes, Director Wenning.
I think there's been some preliminary conversations in the HR committee with our fabulous executive director, that she may be proposing some criteria herself and making some kind of submission around that. So we welcome that, and that's of interest
So I think
to us.
we've discussed that previously as an option.
Yes.
If our HR chair is not here, I am waiting
She's on.
yes, present in the room, I meant. I am ready to hear direction from HR committee if you'd like me to do that as a first step.
Yeah, let's set a meeting.
Great.
No problem.
Okay. And then between portfolio review, HR, are there any other items that people wanted to raise? I just wanted to raise two that, you know, are on my back burner as I finish up as your leader. One is we have our construction initiative, and the construction monitoring, I think, is going to, be part of that. I don't know if there's additional, like, a firm policy or a checklist or where you exactly want to take us. But I see you as sort of our leader on construction quality.
Guardian.
And yes, exactly. And what we want to do is sort of extract the essence of your knowledge and make it into policy so that we are ready for the day you may not be here. And so think about how you want to proceed.
To what degree do I get to go?
Well, why don't you give us some options, and then we will have the conversation. But what I'm conveying is, I see this as an item that you're going to help us deliver to your satisfaction. It's on my list to remind you to help us deliver. We're staffing up so that it actually can mean something. It's just not, poor Keith having to do another thing a day and it being like, where is it at? We will have the team to do it the right way. But I wanted to make sure that you know, that I know, that that's on your list. And the same for workers' defense and Better Builder, and kind of how we want to, continue that dialogue with them. I know that they're interested. We could pass something that's simple, but they might want to have something that's, a more complicated discussion. And so I want to circle back when you are ready to circle back. It's on my to-do list before my time and the chair is over.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we need to do it by December. It just means I know that that is on our to-do and I want to make progress on it.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any other new or unfinished business. Director Becker, you raised your hand.
I would love to say one thing. Thank
Yes.
you. I had not made it all the way through the packet, but I know you guys did this for me, the contractor questionnaire. And I'm so appreciative.
I'm glad you are,
Truly.
and very
Truly.
quickly, our new partner provided that form to me
Without asking?
without asking. And unless it's proprietary, I intend on utilizing it.
Isn't it lovely?
It is. It really is. Ton of detail.
Well, I know, and I will try to write that up where we can have repercussions if they, current. And I'll write it up, but like one thing, and I'd have to look into, why in the world we as the GC wouldn't get that third-party waterproofing report?
Oh, I don't know that there's a
Put it in
reason
the
why we
MOU.
wouldn't. I think it's just something that historically we haven't asked for, and those reports have stayed between the limited partner, who's generally the developer, and whatever general contractor they put in place. So that is something we can certainly ask for and make part of our routine.
MOU? Can we make it part of the MOU?
We can do that. And I'm happy to visit with council on it. And whatever the board wishes is what I will do. I would just suggest that it would be nice to have that information prior to negotiating the MOU so that we know, okay, this is taken care of as part of our due diligence on the review of the property. But I'll do it any way the board wishes.
Can I share?
Yes.
President, so I'll say our friends from Arrow are lurking around the corner because they're here for 2 o'clock, and I'm about to quote them. So one of the things that I think we've been talking about as at the staff level, and that was, I think, reinforced by the feedback that we got from Arrow is we, I think, have clear sort of, it makes sense for us to have standards about quality, about tenant treatment, etc. It's important from both a practical and a relational standpoint that we establish that in policy and communicate it up front with our partners, rather than sort of, coming in the middle of it, of transactions to the degree possible. And so, as an example, I think we all care about making units available to people who have housing choice vouchers. It is one of the bonus points that are available to our partners currently. To date, on workforce deals, on tax credit deals, they cannot discriminate based on source of income. Right now on workforce deals, it's a bonus point. It's not threshold, right? So if we want to change that, let's do it, right? But currently, if a partner can get to 90% plus public benefit ratio, then generally, without choosing that bonus point, they have still, at least in general terms, attempted to comply with sort of the priorities that the board has laid out. So I want us to, as much as possible, to try to, we want to be as clear as we can be up front. It saves everyone time, right? Because if it's not the right partner, then we don't enter into sort of the dialogue. And I think it has the added benefit of being fair and supporting positive relationships as well.
Yeah, and I think one of the, if I can piggyback on what you're saying, is one of the reasons I do want to adopt these things through policy is also to cover the conversation of how do we calibrate our incentives, right? Because if we're like, we want more tenants' Bill of Rights, and we find in the conversation, it's a, if you give me $250K of fee, or what have you. If you give me X of fee, now that you've shown me the data on what that means in terms of risk to my LPs or whomever, I'll do it, because right now the clash might be, oh, we've never done it. You're asking me to do all this other stuff, but if we were to make it attractive enough or build the case for it, and that might be easier. To do all that, we need to be at a sort of we need more people on the team, and we need a bit more time as a board to improve the tools. Same with Better Builder, where it's like
eviction
prevention, or
income discrimination, pursuing Section 8.
And with the Section 8 and the eviction prevention, it might be like, if we're at scale, we have a thing where we're like, do it with our thing. We have the thing, as opposed to go manufacture the thing. It might be a lot easier to be like, here's who you're going to call, and they're going to do it, and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, do it, and they're like, I don't. How do I do it?
I can tell.
Well, that's what. Maybe you become the program, and you're like, you will talk to Jen, and Jen is the staffer that does it. I think it's been a good discussion and identify some of the things we want to work on and how we want to do them through policy. If there's no additional new or unfinished business, I want to point to the Shakespeare rules. And I have been thinking about how we adjourn, because as you know, I want to save us as much time as possible. Many other bodies in this town will just have the chair adjourn by saying, if there is no additional business, we are adjourned. We have traditionally, for a variety of, idiosyncratic historical reasons, always had a discussion and voted on it, etc. I'm going to, since we have said that we are going to have allegiance to the Shakespeare rules, in the time that I have remaining, follow the process and that is outlined here and say, if there is no further business or anyone wishing to make a motion, this meeting is adjourned at 1:10 p.m. by my watch. Thank you.
All right.